Hello and welcome to our episode of Build Up from the Basement here at the Federation of Master Builders. Today I'm joined by our CEO, Brian Berry. Hello.
Hi.
Lovely to see you, Brian. And we've also got our Head of External Affairs, Jeremy Gray.
Hello, how are you doing?
Hello. So today we're going to be discussing the budget, which obviously was announced by Rachel Reeves. Good bits and bad bits, bit of a mixed bag. Jeremy, do you want to start us off with some of the good bits?
Yes, I think the probably the biggest thing that people will notice, particularly house builders, is the scrapping of the landfill tax. I know there's little nuances about what they've announced with the new one, but comparatively to what was going to look like about a 3,000% increase in the tax, particularly for delivering new homes, which may have been about 28 grand for small house builders, it's a huge win. It's something that the FMB were very closely working with government, lobbying with the CLC and other federations to make sure it didn't happen. So we're glad to see that paid off.
Perfect.
I think absolutely right, because I think the government didn't really have a choice. The industry was totally against this because it would have added on for our members about £28,000, as Jeremy said, at a time when we aren't building enough homes anyway. So why put an extra tax on home building? So that was a good result. I mean, that's one of the best things that came out of the budget.
I mean, we could have seen companies folding if that had been introduced, right?
Yeah, well, we're certainly seeing far fewer homes being built.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much. And let's talk about the apprenticeship training that was announced. Who would like to go on that? Jeremy, apprenticeship training.
Yeah, again, I think this is going
Just remind us, sorry, what the announcement was.
So basically they're going to be, it's free training sort of for under 25. So basically at the moment, if you're 22, 25, you pay 5% levy on training. They're removing that part of the levy payment essentially. So it will account towards it will be essentially be free training, but it's an incredibly nuanced system, so we'll have to see how that rolls out. That is a devil in the detail point, and it's different depending whether in Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and so on. So we'll have to see the reality of that. But it's a good movement, isn't it? It's a good way forward. The government have clearly acknowledged that there's a skills issue.
Yeah.
And that one of the major issues is that employers can't really afford to take on new apprentices and are struggling to do that. So
this is something we've talked to members about, Brian.
Yeah, no, we know that there isn't so much a skills crisis as finding enough employers to take on apprentices. Half the apprenticeships don't work out. So we need to be looking at this. It's obviously a good move. As you said, Jeremy, it's devil's in the detail. There's a lot of concern at the moment about endpoint assessments. So we want to just see how it all matches up, really. But on the face of it, it looks good.
Okay, it'll be interesting to see if any of our members manage to take up more apprentices off the back of it.
Absolutely.
See what happens. Okay, great. Let's talk more about the freeze on the tax thresholds and how that affects businesses. Would we like to talk about that, Jeremy? Is that going to have a bit of an impact on sort of our members who employ people, and sort of is that going to mean that they can't employ as many? Is that going to be any sort of major effects?
Well, I think essentially pushing anyone into a higher rate of tax is going to be problematic, especially when they're expecting pay rises potentially around this time of year. It's end of year, and they may be pushed into a new tax threshold, so you're just not taking home more money essentially, which at a time when there's a cost of living crisis, people just don't have the spending power they once did. That just impacts the economy as a whole. So not necessarily even a sectoral issue, that's just a wider economic problem that's going to happen when people can't buy what they need to buy.
Okay.
And just thinking about our members, of course, I mean, everyone's going to have less money. So it's not good for home improvements because it's going to be much tighter, isn't it? And it is a concern, that it's been extended another 3 years. So everyone's going to feel a bit poorer.
Can I just say something about Rachel Reeves said in the budget, if you build here, we will support you. Brian, can I just get your take on what you thought of that statement? Because that doesn't really sound like it's talking about people sort of here. It's talking about people encouraging investment, which we love, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think, our members in particular, small builders, we need a business environment that is positive, that supports the creation of small businesses. And it's an environment where you higher tax, people have less money. Is that really good for small businesses? Probably not. No. There are some really good things in this budget, but there are the negative things in high taxation to a level at like 38%, I think it is. So it's quite high compared to previous years. Still not the highest in Europe, but certainly we're climbing up that ladder.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. And let's talk about the missed opportunities. So the things that we sort of wanted from the Chancellor. Brian, would you like to start with a couple of those?
Well, I think, given that the government is very strongly committed to building 1.5 million homes, we're not meeting that target. We know that people are struggling to get on the housing ladder. It was surprising that there was no incentive for first-time buyers.
Yeah.
Because we need to get more people into the owner-occupied sector. So that was, I think, disappointing, because that would have helped. It's the first time for many years that we've not any help with first-time buyers. And then, the other bit, which you saw in the budget, was putting increasing tax on landlords. So that's actually going to have an impact on the rental supply, because more landlords are going to pull out of the market. Because a landlord at the higher rate of taxation could be paying 47%.
Yeah.
So that's a lot. Half the rent's gone.
And also, you forget most of it goes to the estate agent anyway. So
yeah, so it'll be more.
It
It will be
it.
more than that. So
Right.
I can see that actually fewer homes, and those that are left, rents will go up. So we're not seeing help for first-time buyers, and we're making it more difficult for people who rent.
Do you know what they'll say to that? The government will say, "Oh, well, we're doing the Renters' Rights Bill, which protects people." So it seems like we've got sort of a lot of contradictory sort of, I don't know. Jeremy, what do you think about any missed opportunities, retrofit? anything?
Yes, well, yeah, retrofit, as you mentioned, they've removed the eco scheme, which was essentially retrofitting social housing properties, so impacted predominantly the larger side of the RMI market, not necessarily the small businesses that we represent, but it's a direction of travel, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you remove something like that, you're just not having the skills training in that area, you're not having green skills coming in, so it could be seen as a move to roll back on that, and they've done that to save apparently £150 on household bills.
Why do you think they've done that?
Well, I think there was obviously the problems earlier in this year when it came to essentially dodgy installation of retrofitting properties. They've tried to attribute that maybe to the previous government, the Conservative government, and the eco was a Conservative scheme, so they want to basically get rid of that mess, move on to something that they will establish through the Warms Home plan potentially. Okay. So it might not be gone forever, but there might be something coming in that's more Labour focused.
That's really well explained.
It'd be really nice if they actually picked up the national retrofit strategy and put some incentives there that cut across, because at the moment eco is very focused on social housing. Brilliant. But what about homeowners? 2/3 of homes are owned by people and very little incentive.
Nothing.
So maybe it's an opportunity to see something new and better.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Brian. Have either of you got anything else to add?
Yes.
Go on.
Well, we didn't touch on planning.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So just to bring up the 48 million that was announced, not a huge amount of money. I think the reality is if you spread that around all local planning authorities, you're not really probably going to do much of a dent. But it's something. And we, something we've called for multiple times is extra resourcing to planning departments. It's one of the biggest issues facing our members in terms of small house builders. They don't have the contact time they used to with the local authority planning teams.
Right.
And getting more resource, getting more time between the builder and the planning officer is a positive move. So it's good, but this isn't going to touch the side. It's a drop in the ocean,
Right, okay. Thank you very much.
And what about the flexible funding for the mayors? 13 billion.
Yeah.
So there's some opportunity there if it's spent wisely.
We might have to start writing for all the mayors.
Yeah,
Give them our 10-point plan.
So I think we need to reach out beyond Westminster now and start contacting the mayors, because they have the opportunity to shape
their local areas.
environment. So I'm looking forward to seeing how we can work with the mayors.
Yes, that's a really, really good point, Brian. Yeah, thank you. Right, well, thank you so much, both of you, for coming down to the basement and joining me this afternoon. And thank you, everyone, for listening. Fantastic.